Hi guys! Alright, so today we are going to finish talking about the periodic table of elements. Woohoo! Alright, so throughout the course of this week and the next couple of days as we work through the periodic table, don't forget to use the Google form to let me and Miss Myers and Miss Caldwell know what it is that you accomplished today. So, here we go! Okay, so before we start, remember that we talked the other day about the alkali metals, and that being our first group in the periodic table. You got to see some really cool explosions. So, woohoo! That was fun. We won't get to see any more explosions with this stuff because each family group has its own set of properties. So, just like the slide says, it's organized very specifically so that we can find patterns, and that those patterns are going to help us understand these different types of atoms. So go ahead and pick another color for your coloring of your next family group, and let's go. Okay, so we just learned about our alkali metals, this red group over here, and you colored those in and took some notes about that family group. And now we are going to move on to our next group, which is this group right here. And its name is the alkaline earth metals. So if you need to, go ahead and pause the video so that you can color in all of these elements. You're going to go straight down this line right here: beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. So go ahead and pause the video, and then we will take some notes. Okay, so you've now unpaused the video, and we're going to take some notes on our alkaline earth metals. So on your on the other page in your notebook, as you're taking your notes about this family group, go ahead and title the page, or title this section, Alkaline Earth Metals. And you're going to copy this information that I have right here on the slide for you. So you need to know that these elements are still very reactive, but not quite as reactive as the ones that we saw the other day. They are all solid at room temperature. And these are some other physical properties of alkaline earth metals. They're silvery, shiny, and they are really good conductors of heat and electricity. And do you remember what a conductor is? A conductor is when you can let heat and electricity move through it really quickly. So they are really good about moving heat and electricity. So next, we're going to move on to our next group, and they are our transition metals. This is a really big group. And so you can go ahead and color this group in, and then we'll take some notes on it. So pause the video if you need to, and we will, so you can color, and then we'll take some notes. All right, so now you're ready for your notes, and this is what you need to know about our transition metals. So they are less reactive than the other groups that we've talked about so far. They are also really good conductors of heat and electricity. And we are going to use this word. They are super malleable, which means they can be bent into shape. They're pretty flexible. There's not much more information that you need to know about this group, just because this is more chemistry. So we are learning the basics of the periodic table, and these transition metals will be saved for chemistry in a couple of years. So you don't need to write this last bullet point. You just need to know that we're just going to learn a little bit about these elements. Okay, and pick another color. You're going on to the next one. All right, next we are going to talk about what we call our other metals. So this is aluminum, gallium, indium, thallium, and then all of these crazy ones all the way to 116. And I can't remember that name of that element. Sorry, guys. So all of these in blue right here is what you are going to color, and you're going to title this group your other metals. So don't forget to put this on your key as well, and make your next section in your notes. So go ahead and pause the video so that you can color. Okay, so this is what you need to know about our other metals. So they're usually softer, and they have really low melting points. They are super high in density, and they are along the step ladder. So that's all you need to know about your other metals. So pause it if you need to take these notes, and then pick another color. Okay, so next we are going to learn about this itty bitty group right here along our step ladder. It's kind of forming our step ladder, and we call those our semiconductors. So boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium, and polonium are all our semiconductors. So pause if you need to color. Otherwise, let's keep going. So here are the things that you also need to know about your semiconductors. They conduct electricity, but only under certain conditions. So it has to be perfect conditions before they'll conduct electricity. That's why they're called semiconductors. They conduct part of the time. They're used in a lot of electronics, and so sometimes they get to act like metals, and sometimes they act like nonmetals. And they are also right along the stepladder. So write these bullet points down in your notes under your title of semiconductors, and then we will move on. So pause if you need to. And pick another color. We're moving on to the next group. All right, our next group are our nonmetals, and they are these right over here in the corner: carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, and selenium. So go ahead and color these, and once you've colored them, you can go on to take your notes. So pause if you need to so that you can color these elements in. And this is the information you need to know about nonmetals. So pause the video so you can take your notes about nonmetals. Living things are made up of a combination of all of these elements. Most are gases at room temperature, and this is really important, so I forgot to mention this. Hydrogen is a nonmetal, and it's on the other side of our periodic table. So your hydrogen is way over here, so make sure you color that guy as your nonmetal as well. And they are not good conductors. They are really good insulators, which are the opposite of conductors. Remember when we were talking about heat? So they do not let heat pass through them very easily. All right, so pause if you need to finish taking notes. Otherwise, we're going to move on. Pick another color. All right, here we go. Our next group are our halogen group, and they are this very second to last column over here. So from fluorine all the way down to unceptium. And so pause if you need to color, and then we'll move on. So this is what you need to know about halogens. They are most likely to bond with our group 1 metals, which another name for our group 1 metals is what? This group right here are alkali metals. And they will more than likely be seen as compounds in nature or molecules. They don't like to be by themselves very often. They like to have a friend. They're buddies with other elements. So go ahead and pause if you need to and write this in your notes. Then pick another color. All right, and one of our last groups over here, we call these our noble gases. So go ahead and pause if you need to color in your noble gases. It's this last column all the way down the column. Those are all your noble gases. And this is a super special group. So once you color, get ready to take some notes on our noble gases. Okay, so here are our notes. They are what we call inert, which means they're stable, which means they're super unreactive. They like to hang out by themselves, and they don't bond very, very often with other types of elements. They like to stay by themselves. All of them are gases at room temperature. That's why they're called the noble gases. Get it? They're all gases at room temperature. And most of them are colorless and odorless. So pause if you need to take notes or finish taking notes on your noble gases. And you're going to pick another color. All right, these guys down here at the bottom are our lanthanide series, which is the top row, and our actinide series, which is the bottom one down here. And we sometimes call these guys our rare earth metals. So individually, they're a different series, or altogether, they are rare earth metals. So go ahead and pause if you need to color. If you want to color them all one color, that's fine. Or if you want to do them separately, you can do that as well. I would not say no. So go ahead and pause and color, and then we'll take some notes. Okay, so this is what you need to know about your lanthanide and actinide series. Each row is a separate group, like we said. Every element in the actinide series is what we call radioactive. So that means that they kind of decompose on their own. They're super special, and we'll get to talk about that hopefully a little while or in a couple of class periods. They are rarely seen outside of a lab environment, so most of them are man-made because they are so ready to just decompose and change into different elements. They're placed below the rest of the periodic table just because if they were in the periodic table where the little stars are,